keep it light, keep it fun, keep an open heart. The rule of improv is yes and, and that's really just like, yes is like, I hear you, I accept you, I understand you, and here's something else. And you just add to it. And so it's just about openness and connecting. And it doesn't mean that you have to do love and light and be like positive all the time. But I just think opening our hearts up to each other is just like really what's going to save us. So.
Alrighty, I'm joined with New Orleans-based comedian JQ Plams. She has been making crowds laugh with her sharp wit and local flavor, bringing that signature New Orleans energy to every stage she is on. And thank you again for joining me, us at Thurko's podcast at Fête du Void 2025.
This is so great. What a wonderful intro. You do so well with those.
I've been trying to put in some, it sounds kind of good, but it does not look good, listeners. Sometimes I struggle to read my own handwriting.
Hey, I love it. I want to know what you think the New Orleans energy is, though.
I guess the reason why I said that is because New Orleans has its own vibe and own personality within Louisiana. So I guess I just sounded good on paper.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Just like an element of crazy and debauchery, I think, right? Heathens there in New Orleans.
Oh, yes.
Crazies.
What a wonderful place to go.
That's so wonderful.
And we're here recording at Fête du Void 2025. It's a beautiful afternoon. The sun is setting. Music is playing. Food is being cooked. And I got the best comedian in the state of Louisiana with me right now.
Oh, gosh. You're too kind.
So the last time you were on, it was you and Rob. Mm-hmm. And we went all over the place in that conversation. So I'm going to ask you a little bit more personal questions.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Sure. Hit me.
What got you into comedy?
Okay.
Is there like a defining moment or it was?
Yes, actually there was. It was like 2017. I ran off with a boy in New Orleans to the top of Island Mountain in Mendocino County to work on his weed farm. And I thought it was going to be like just living out in nature and like a Disney movie, like with like birds that fly to the window. And I'm just like tending to this beautiful space and just living off the grid for a summer. In my mind, it sounded amazing. But in actuality, it was really hard to be isolated for that long from people. And we were like 3 hours from town and there was just no one else to talk to. And me, I'm just such a connecting person. Like I need to be exchanging and engaging with people. And without that, I like really sunk into a deep depression and I did not know what was funny, what I liked. The isolation was torture. And I came back to New Orleans and I was sad and broke and had to start my life all over. And I didn't even like have a personality anymore. I got like MK Ultra or something. It was wild. And I went to a friend's improv comedy show and I didn't even know what that was. And he was like, yeah, just come, we just like kind of goof around on stage. And I went and sat and watched these just like chuckleheads just make up scenes and try to make things funny and silly. And they were just coming up with that like out of their brains, like in the moment. And I'd never seen anything like that before. It's not sketch comedy. It's like, and it's not like whose line is it anyway? It's like you're just like creating worlds with your brains. And then when you can make it funny, it's kind of this like magical I don't know, pulling things from the ethers to like all land together on a joke that like no one saw coming, but like everyone is laughing at. And I was just laughing so hard. And I was like, oh my God, this feels good. Like I feel good again. I feel like myself. I feel like I just need to laugh. That's going to just carry me through life, is just finding what's funny. So I just signed up for improv classes, and like it kind of came instinctually to me. And it was bad for a while, but then I don't know, I just kind of fell into a groove. And I think it's just kind of like about being open with people and just, you know, facing your fears and not letting your ego take over and just being silly, which is really what festivals are, right? It's just people just tapping into that like imagination, childlike, you know, silliness to combat like just the seriousness of like human feelings in life. And so, you know, I started doing the improv, and then after a while I was realizing like, oh, I'm just like, I'm writing a lot of things that like I do want to say, like planned or whatever, like it's like material that I'm coming up with. And so I crossed over to stand up. And that kind of came naturally too. I don't know. My parents are performers. My whole family are musicians. I can play music, but I'm not like good at it. Like I don't know all the notes. Like I don't get the math of it, and my fingers are small. Like it's just, that's not comfortable. But the performance aspect is in my blood. And then just like the humor is what comes naturally to me. So I just started going for it. That was a really long answer. I'm sorry.
No,
I
fine.
took you back very far, but that is...
The listeners need to hear that. It's good to hear a deep dive in your beginning in comedy.
I just think for me, it was never about like, oh, I want to be a star or like I want to be up there. I just like, I really enjoy laughing. And so if I can make other people laugh, then I'm just like, I don't know, if you're laughing, you're not crying.
So when it comes to like say if I'm out there and I want to get into comedy, so would you recommend going to improv classes, like comedy classes?
I would start with improv, because that really works this muscle in your brain where you just start to see things through a lens of like, how can I make this funny? How could this be worse so that it's funny? And it's your brain just kind of starts like thinking that way. And so then when you're coming up with material, it's like, I don't know, it's just working that muscle, and then also facing the fears of like, if you're improvising, you don't have a plan. It's terrifying, but like you do it and then you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And so I don't know, it gives you like confidence to face your fears and be on stage in front of people. And then like, if you're like, oh, I'll also write some jokes, then I think you'd have an easier time like going to an open mic. Because those are very, like, I don't know, can be, like, judgmental, harsh. Like, you're walking into, you know, you don't know what the audience is like. And if they don't like your comedy, then you're just up there, like, sweating and you can't get out of it. And it's the worst feeling in the world. But, I don't know. Then you're like, well, I mean, that was rough. But, like, I'm still here. I'll just try it again. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You should do it, Joe. I mean, come on.
I've took a few of Chris True's classes.
Oh, yeah, great.
It's just falling off and not being consistent with it. I've always wanted to try an open mic. I did the one here last year at Void.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not that well.
Okay.
I mean, it went all right. I made like one joke. A couple of jokes, but
what was the
made
joke?
one person. I can't remember for the
Come
life of me.
on.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly, I can't.
We'll find that. I'm gonna look in the archives.
So you just brought up about doing open mic and dealing with like basically terrible jokes. Have you ever had a joke bomb so bad that you still remember to this day?
Absolutely. I have a few. I think probably one of the most challenging shows it was a big show. It was like opening for like a famous podcaster comic that people came to see, and they picked me to open. And I don't know, I did some jokes, and then I went into this kind of crowd work thing where I have jokes about like being married and what it's like to be married for a long time, and just like, it's just a line of jokes about marriage. And so I usually talk to a couple that's married about it. And I couldn't really see the front row because of the lights, but I could see like a, good looking couple. And I was just kind of talking to them. And I had this joke about like, you make these vows to stay together, until you're like old and your bodies are breaking down and you have to like change each other's diapers and, just like whatever. And it got really uncomfortable. And the woman goes, well, I already do change his diapers. And then I was like, oh, well, why are you changing her husband's diapers? And then like I looked at what I was looking at, and the man was in a wheelchair.
Oh.
And not only was he in a wheelchair, he was like a well-known New Orleans Saints player. And so the whole audience thought that I was making fun of this guy, that they thought that I could see that he was in a wheelchair, but I couldn't.
It wasn't Gleason, was it?
It was not Gleason, thank God. This guy he'd played football and then he got like a motorcycle wreck or something, but...
Oh, I'm a Saints fan. I don't know who that is.
Okay, well, don't look it up because I still feel so bad to this day. It just was mortifying.
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to bring up too terrible of a past.
I mean, I talked to them after, I always like check in with people. Like it was fine, but yeah.
So besides bomb jokes, have you ever experienced hecklers and how do you handle them when on stage?
In the beginning, it would send me into just a full-blown panic. I one time did this Halloween show where they were like, dress up in a costume and write a set as that character. And like, I don't know. I decided to be a walrus. And like, it was like Dolores the Walrus. And I did dress up like a walrus with like a Bourbon Street t-shirt on and Mardi Gras beads. And like this whole character, she'd like come off a cruise ship and she like was in the French Quarter and like, got her claws stuck in like the shuffle. It was so corny. And I was trying to do a voice and I took on a lot. And this guy in the front row, like halfway through, just very loudly just goes, well, this isn't going well. And I was like, you're right. And I still have like a lot more to say. And I just breezed through it and like ran off as fast as I could. And, nowadays people think heckling is like part of the comedy. See, the improv really helps with that because it like helps to have like a comeback and know how to handle it. But for me, if I'm not in the right state of mind, even last year, Void, I left Void Sunday to go play a show that night at High Ho Lounge, which is a bad idea. Never agreed to do anything important the day of the last day of Void. Huge mistake because I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
And then I had to go play some corny comedy songs in front of like 4 people. And someone walked in to buy a drink and just started yelling how bad and uncomfortable this whole scenario was. And I was in the middle of a song and I just like stopped playing and I was like, I think I'm done. And I just walked on the stage. And that's hard too. Bombing when you do a song is way worse than anything else. Because if they hate the song from the beginning, you can't get out of it. And you're just like, all right, I just have to finish this. We just have to get to the end. I mean, most people connect with music, so they like tend to enjoy it. But if they did not come to hear a white girl sing badly with the ukulele, it's just like, get off the stage. They need to sing about my boobs first, and then I'll go. Jonkers, sorry.
Jonkers?
Yeah.
But I like how you do blend the music and comedy together to make a unique set.
Well, I think that's kind of the cheat too, honestly, because I don't know, I feel like our cells connect with music. So when you start a song, people are like they perk up, right? And then when you write clever lyrics, like the punchline is written in. So you don't have to worry about landing it because you know it's going to land because it's how it's going to close out the last line of the verse. It's like it feels good, but timing is everything. So to have a song that has built-in timing like really helps. Otherwise, you say one word wrong in your material, it throws off the timing, you miss the punchline, and then you can't go back.
Yeah. So when you're doing a set, how long is a perfect time for you, like as a comedy set? Like
length of time.
yeah.
I don't know. I try not to think about time, because if someone's like, okay, you're doing 20 minutes, and I'm like, what am I going to say for 20 minutes? And then I get all freaked out about it. And then, 20 minutes goes by so fast. So I hate to think about, I think, 15 means, you get some jokes in there, you get a song in there. You got to be really good and know how to carry a crowd if you're going to do like 30, 40, 50 minutes. Because, in this day and age, our attention spans are so small that if you're just kind of, and if you haven't connected with the audience and you got to do 30 minutes of just like, it's like reading a book report, it's no fun for anybody. So I like, for example, at FET this year, I have like 10 comics coming, and they're all going to do like, 8 to 10 minute sets. So it's like, keep it moving, keep it fun and do your best jokes. And
where's that happening at on the Void property this year?
So that's going to happen at the El Barrio stage this evening. The music ends at 2 a.m. And then we're going to try to start the comedy right away, keep the crowd, and lead into the spelling bee that starts at 3.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be tired tomorrow.
Well, and then wake up in the morning, and we're doing the Pancake Morning Show.
Oh, that's tonight.
That's
you're
tonight
talking about. Yeah.
till tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, you're going to... Oh.
But you know what? I have a great team doing this morning show with me. I have some of the best musicians at the festival that are super on board with playing these corny songs and doing this goofy show where it's like we have games and we have tricks and we have surprises and we have pancakes, and everyone's just like committed to helping me pull this off. Rob's done so much work for it. James, Blake, and Mitch are the bands, the My Morning Flapjackets. And Jenna Hausman's helping me with it, although she lost her voice, so we'll see how that goes. And Lynn Krieger made all the pancakes, and her daughter's helping, so we can at least feed everybody when they wake up. Good way to start the day. And then they can just hang out in the hammocks and, relax while we pull off some goofy shenanigans. And Bill Murray's in the show, so
Ooh.
I wouldn't miss that.
Ooh, a real Louisiana treasure right there.
That's right.
How many pancakes did y'all make?
That's a good question. I have no idea. We haven't made them yet. They're going to be fresh.
Oh, all right.
We'll see what Lynn can do. She might need to pull in some help, because I really want everyone to get to eat something. And she made all these fancy syrups, and it's going to be tasty. So,
All right. So,
you can't lose, right?
No, you can't. And if y'all ain't checked out Third Coast Podcast, check out Third Coast Podcast on 5000ws.thirdcoastpodcast.com on all major streaming platforms, social media, and YouTube.
That was slick.
Do you feel that comedy in New Orleans has its own personal feel versus other states?
Absolutely. Yes. Here's the thing. Like, if you go to Austin, they have their own brand for the most part. It's a lot of the Joe Rogan, and it's kind of this it's like woke is over, and people have very strong language and say words that you can't say everywhere, and they do it haphazardly. And it's kind of, the game is to see like how bad you can be, how riding the line, and that's an art in itself. In New Orleans, that's a pretty liberal, woke, diverse city, and people are really not, for the most part, like interested in like punching down and being racist. It's like there's just more to play with, because it's more of the city is like not even a real city, so you just can't follow like the standard traditional tropes of what people think of with stand-up comedy. You really have to be smart. And I feel the same way about festivals. I don't know how the comedy's going to go here. It's like everyone is in such an elevated state of mind. I think it feels weird to like do comedy that like makes fun of other people, you know?
Yeah.
That's tough. It's like, I don't know. A lot of some comedy can be really dark and depressing. Some comics are going up there to talk about themselves, and it's kind of like a therapy session, and they just kind of want to say things that they're thinking and get the feedback that like they're okay. And it can really it can really bum people out to hear the self-deprecation that people come up with. It's the easiest way for us to find funniness is just make fun of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And that's it's very typical. I sometimes I fall into that, but then I'm like, no, how about love yourself and love other people and like talk about other things that are funny, that are silly funny, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that answer? I mean,
No.
I also haven't done much comedy in other cities where there's like a big scene. Like I would love to do it in New York. I really would. I have lots of friends that have gone up there to like do it for real because that's like really where you can
explode.
You know, New Orleans is just kind of like summer camp. It's like I did a show the other day that was in the alley of a church, and it did not go well because nobody could get anyone to laugh because we're like at a church, you know. But there's nowhere else. It's like you had a Crab Shack. Like just pick a restaurant, and stick a mic in the corner, like the Piccadilly, and like do comedy there because we don't really have any like clubs that we can do it at. There's a couple venues that also do comedy, but no like real comedy club. Detroit has a cool scene, and they have clubs where it's like you walk in, they take you to your table, they bring you your 2 drinks, you don't have to get up, you're just sitting enjoying the show, and those go well because you're locked in. But if you have to like get up and get a drink, or you know, you miss things, and
I never thought about it that way.
It's the attention, grabbing the attention of the audience, I think is the number one way of success. And also, if you can, like, improv helps you. I think it's always great, like, if you go to a new place, if you can come up with, like, 3 jokes about what everyone can see or what everyone is experiencing, it, like, brings everyone in the room together. Like, you can, you know, whatever the venue is, like, you know, find something to joke about. Or we could make a joke about we're doing this in the ruins, like, so that everyone's like, okay, we're talking about the present moment and we're all in it together. Then you've got them, and then you can like go into your material. But if you just like launch into your like routine, sometimes the audience is like, the train left the station and I didn't even get on it, you know?
Yeah. I didn't realize that. That's another thing. The comedy scene is tough in New Orleans versus bigger cities and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, New Orleans audiences are not always the best behaved, and it's like, yeah, also people come there to party, and people go there to like be out on the streets drinking. Like, you were to tell them to like sit down, not talk, put their phones away, and like listen to somebody they don't know talk about themselves. I'm like, it's hard for me because I'm like, yeah, you're at this comedy show, thanks for coming, but like, did you know that like the best music in the world is 2 blocks away? Like, don't miss that for this.
Yeah. That's wild. Oh, how much longer you got, JQ?
I'm like 10 minutes.
Okay. I wrote something.
Yeah.
I hope this ain't too personal, but I remember us talking back in a couple months ago about how your dad would have been great on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is that okay if I?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to.
He's here right now. I can feel him.
So, for the listeners out there and for the world, Mark Plams was a gifted accordion player, vocalist, and educator who dedicated his life to preserving and sharing traditional music. A mostly self-taught musician, Mark chased his roots of Cajun, Zydeco, and old-time sound by learning directly from older masters and collecting field recordings in Louisiana and West Africa. He became a cornerstone of the band Creole de Nord, where he brought the living spirit of Cajun and Zydeco music to audience with soulful accordion playing and his vocals. Beyond the stage, Mark taught music to children, founded Riverfolk Music and Art Festival in Manchester, Michigan, collaborated with youth orchestra in Ghana, and released his own music independent label, Fuji Records?
Fruge
Records. And where was that? He carried forth traditions while making his own legacy, which continues through countless people he inspired. So
that's true. He also played guitar, fiddle, banjo. My mom played bass. They had a band before I was even born. They had a Michigan string band for a long time. And in our little hometown of like 2,000 people, we just didn't really have like a lot of music and culture there. And he traced our genealogy down to New Orleans, came out to Lafayette, went to the Blue Moon, fell in love with Cajun music, brought the Red Stick Ramblers up to play this little festival he started in our hometown. And then we just started coming back and forth to Louisiana, starting in like 2000. And my first Mardi Gras was the very first chicken run in Eunice that the Savoie family put on. And Fruge Records comes from Freddie Fruge Road, which is the cottage that he bought in Eunice called Lulu's. And he bought it so that musicians could live there. It was like a 4-bedroom house, and he bought it so musicians could just live there for real cheap and just, pursue their craft, which is just one of the many things he did. It's just like he wanted to support everyone that was interested in anything creative. He just wanted everyone to nurture whatever they loved. And it really was not about being the best. It was about just doing it and encouraging other people to do it. And this like festival scene is so, I don't know, it's just so magical because it just reminds me of just like the spirit of what he believed in, which is like, I mean, yes, like we all have to live like our matrix life and like it's, we know that, but like this is like, even for me, I started doing comedy here 2 years ago. I was so terrified and shy and felt all kinds of imposter syndrome and like, why me? What am I doing here? And over the years, the Void fam has just been like, no, like go girl, just do it. Like, we want to hear you. Like, what does your brain come up with? Your podcast, all these bands that form of different musicians, all the art. It's just like, what do you want to make? Let's do it. Here's a space to do it. And like all these people that support you. I mean, that just feels wonderful as a human to have that chance, So it's tough to be his daughter and like try to carry his legacy because he just did so much. And I could never duplicate that, but I just try to carry his spirit. And Uncle Rick's girlfriend or wife, I saw them last night, and she knew my dad from the Black Pot Festival, and they jammed together. And she let me hug and cry her for a few minutes, and that was a wonderful connecting piece to my dad. I mean, he just, I don't know, he's a really special person. So thank you for mentioning him. And I'm so proud of myself for getting through this without crying. I just cry every day. It's a grief that you just never know what it's going to be until you feel it, and then you deal with it forever.
Yeah, I guess when I lost my stepmom, the best way was trying to remember her, and I have a cookbook that she wrote some recipes in, and every now and again I just pull that cookbook out and read the little message she wrote in the front, and always love yourself, da 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 da. And if you talk about it, it's a lot easier sometimes, and sometimes it's a hard topic. And I appreciate you for letting me shine a little light on your dad about all the wonderful things he done. He sounded like he was an amazing person.
He was, and he would have loved this. And, he did get to go see the Holly Rock show at the first day of, what was that we put on right before Jazz Fest started at the Broadside. So he got to meet some people in the family, before he passed, and I really thought that was important. So he knew that he was leaving me in good hands. And he was just, like, so excited for all these creative opportunities. I will say, like, I don't know, magic works in mysterious ways. Right after he passed, I got the opportunity to open at the Manship Theater in Baton Rouge for Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows has been one of my favorite SNL comedians, actors, since childhood. So many iconic characters, and also played with the most important people in comedy, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, all the way up to Will Ferrell. I mean, just, he's so great. And then, they call me, do you want to come open for Tim Meadows? And I'm like, I don't feel like I can be funny right now, but I have to say yes to this because I know my dad would want this for me. And I had 3 weeks to prepare. And, when I was up there, it was the biggest audience I've ever played for. It was 1,500 people. And I had 2 friends from New Orleans come, Kat and Olivia, and 2 friends from Michigan come, Cassie and Holly. 2 sets of 2 different besties that came to support me. I felt like everyone was just holding me up. I did a song, and for the first time, I didn't miss a single note. And I felt halfway through that he was carrying me in the instrument and just giving me that push of like, you've got this. And I'll never forget that. If I never do comedy again, that was a highlight for sure.
It sounds really special.
It was. So, hug your loved ones and just keep them close.
Appreciate it every day.
Appreciate every day.
So, JQ, do you have any up-and-coming things before we get out of here?
Well,
let the listeners know if they want to come see you perform live.
The void took up a lot of my energy and focus. So I really only gotten this far in kind of planning ahead for comedy. I have this improv group of all women, and we do perform twice a month, once in Baton Rouge. If you want to come see us at the Boomerang Comedy Theater, we're there 4 times a year. We're called You're Invited Improv Party, and that's always a really fun show. Stand-up wise, I don't know. I'm toying with the idea of just quitting my job and going full force because it's hard to do both. I don't want to actually leave the kids that I nanny, but you have kids. I mean, you don't have a lot left at the end of the day after spending it with them. And to switch gears and try to go be funny is a challenge. So I'm not there yet, but I do kind of toy with the idea of you kind of have to just take the safety net out from underneath if you really want to challenge yourself to go forward. So, and I don't know what comedy is like in New Orleans as far as where it can take you, but I do have an idea of maybe trying different ways to make, fun comedy shows like the Bank Street Bar show that we do the last Sunday, where it's open mic comedy, music, just kind of a daytime hang instead of just a typical comedy show. And, I don't know. I also toy with the idea of getting into podcasting because, you have a microphone and you imagine there's an audience out there. So
there's maybe a few people listening.
Maybe it's a little bit easier than seeing the people in the audience. It's just imagining them, but it's just me and you. So this is not scary at all.
You should do it. I encourage everybody to do a podcast. It's fun, and you're just getting to know people and letting people get to know other people.
Yeah.
And know other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, JQ, do you have any words of wisdom before we get out of here for the listeners out there?
Oh, gosh. I guess just, keep it light, keep it fun, keep an open heart. The rule of improv is yes and, and that's really just yes is I hear you, I accept you, I understand you, and here's something else. And you just add to it. And so it's just about openness and connecting. And it doesn't mean that you have to do love and light and be positive all the time. But I just think opening our hearts up to each other is just really what's going to save us. So. Is that good? I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still learning. You give me some words of wisdom. I don't know.
Me words of wisdom? Oh, my words of wisdom is to never quit what you love doing. Yes. No matter if one person's watching you or 1,000's watching you.
That's right. Or if one person's playing basketball and not watching you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kyle.
But thank you, JQ, for joining.
It's been awesome.
At the Ruins, and I'm Joe. What it do, Gators? And we out.